I'm back from hiatus, and 351 photoshopped NPC mini pawn templates later, I'm back. Well, welcome back to Crafting Times. In this Season 2, I am building, cover to cover, the Keep on the Borderlands Module B2. Arguably one of the most played modules in RPG history. Now, to start out, for better or worse, the way I started to dig into this, after obviously reading through the module a few times, was to start working on the NPCs. What I'm going to show you today is just the NPCs I laid out for the keep only. This isn't even the monsters and stuff you'll fight later. This is just 351, technically 349. There's 2 donkeys I accidentally made too many of that were in the mix. So 350 NPCs I created. It took a really long time. I learned more about Photoshop than I knew before I started this. But it was a rewarding experience when I start doing NPCs for the Caves of Chaos and other areas. I know I'll fly through it after this. The place I got the actual imagery is a website called Paper Friends, and there's a link in the show description. This dude just posted hundreds and hundreds, and I'm amazed where he gathered all these from. A really clean NPC and monster representations, all sorts of genres too, not just fantasy. So check it out. I made a template for medium and large creatures that is Pathfinder pawn compatible. When these are all glued on and based, it should be the same size as all these Pathfinder pawns I already have. Now, as I read through the module and the different types of soldiers in the keep, I kind of kept a general, okay, if it says they have a longbow, I'm always using this guy. If it says it's a crossbow, I'm just going to use this guy. I tried to make it a little bit simpler on myself, and then labeled, color-coded which area of the keep they're in, and then which number. So, man-at-arms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Area what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Then color code also, because there's one area where the same number of soldiers are in both spots. So I did red for one, blue for the other. The other thing I tried to go for was if you can roll it, I wanted to have a pawn represented for it. So if you could roll 1 to 8 riding horses, there they are. If you could roll 1 to 16 patrons, there's 16. Whether you're going to use them all or not, they're just all there. I also decided if certain characters were not mentioned and not given any sort of stats, I just didn't bother including them. So let's say we're talking about the tavern. It says underneath there's quarters for a score of servants. Well, they didn't mention anything about how many. I'm not going to make a bunch of servant NPCs assuming, well, they're probably busy and we're not going to run into them. Or maybe they're the patrons, or maybe they keep their own business, we're not going to worry about them. So if people weren't mentioned, another area, it said, oh, the Smithy's family lives upstairs. Well, other descriptors, it said, well, they have a wife and kids. Okay. This one didn't say anything, so I just skipped it. I figured, well, maybe they're out of town. I can make up a story in regards to why they're not there if I really need to. So I really had to think through how to present all this stuff. Also, a couple fun things that I had to cook up that were not inside of the Paper Friends was kids. So I found some like Renaissance costume kid photos on Google Images and photoshopped them in. Who let the dogs out, needed 2 large dogs, so found dogs on a white background and put them in there also. Yeah, it's something I try to be prepared for. Any contingency is in there. In the tavern, there's 3 types of wanderers: dwarven, elf, or halfling. They're there. You can pick whichever one you want, or you could roll for it, I suppose, too. Now, later, you'll see instructions and how I'm going to base these. That would be its own video of even what the bases are going to look like. How I'm going to print and glue these to foam board to make these into pawns. That'll be its own video too. But this was a huge step for me. I've had an exceptionally busy couple of months, and this was pretty ambitious to be spending a lot of time in front of the computer to put all these together. But 351 later, this first hurdle is done. The next thing you're going to see is measure twice, cut once. So I am going to make, with just sort of newspaper markings, the whole map measured out to the scale that I'm doing, so I can just get a feel for how big this thing is going to be. And then from there, I can make each of the areas of the keep and have a little bit of a cutting pattern almost. And just have a feel for space and other things too. So that's coming up on episode 2 of the B2 build. If you want to win a copy of this, you gotta subscribe, and at some point here I'll draw who the winner is of this pretty decent copy of B2 Keep on the Borderlands. Thanks for everybody who has subscribed and stuck with me, and hope to keep coming out with videos for you soon. Leave your comments. Love to hear what you're saying, and I love to talk with all of you on there too. And especially anybody in the last couple months too that's given some encouragement, said, hey, where are you? Where are your videos? It's meant a ton to me, and is actually part of the reason I'm like, okay, I gotta make the time to do this and get back on the air with this. So thanks a lot. See you next time on Crafting Times.